Hello and welcome to Golf FM. This is a quick video on how to do a very straightforward lob shot. There's one option, there's other options, but this is just one way. It's fairly straightforward, not difficult to follow, I don't think anyway. And I think just about everybody could do this, because I was teaching it to some juniors the other day who were about 5 years old and they were managing it. So if they can do it, you can do it. Right, so I've got a 60-degree wedge and I'm hitting off a really tight turf here. So if you can do it off this, you can do it off anything. Better if the ball's setting up. You need to be able to read the lie with all short game shots. Dan Grieve will tell you that. There's an IQ for reading lies, and sometimes you think you can do something on a shot in terms of the technique, but the lie will prevent that. So there's certain shots for certain lies. But if we assume that this was a good lie and it's maybe sitting up nicely, I haven't got the grass behind the ball, it's not downhill and it's not sitting in a hole or a divot, then you can play this shot this way. So I've got a 60-degree wedge for maximum height. I've got 10 degrees of bounce on this and I'm hitting off a really tight lie. But that's still fine, I can still do it. The first thing you have to think about is you do none of your normal chipping stuff. Your normal chipping stuff, you've got open stance, you're leaning forward a little bit, your hands are kind of slightly ahead of the club, and you tend to keep the weight on that side and turn through and hit a normal kind of chip shot. For a lob shot, that all changes. So what you tend to do is stand with the big things. Your weight is 50-50 now. It's just in the middle, so I'm not leaning forward. So the weight's 50-50. If you're really doing an extreme shot, you might actually even go on your right foot. Very dangerous because you might thin it, but sometimes you have to try stuff. So I've got this slightly wider stance than normal. It's only a short shot. I'm only talking about just hitting it over a bunker and getting onto the green because it needs to stop quick because it's going to run over the other side. You know roughly when you need to hit a lob shot, hopefully. That's another bit of IQ, that you need to decide when to hit these shots and when not to hit these shots. And often I see people trying to play lob shots when actually a 56-degree normal pitch shot, chip shot would do. You don't actually need to do any of this. So this is emergency stuff. This is when you really need to do it. You're in a match play situation, you've got no other option to try and save the match than hit a really good shot over a bunker and get up and down, something like that. So get on with it. How do you do it? So I'm gripping down a little bit, I'm making the club shorter. Anytime you make the club shorter, it won't go as far. So when I'm hitting a short shot, I need to do that. So I grip down. Big thing is weight 50-50, as I mentioned. Butt of the club just points straight up towards your belly button, so right into the middle of you, not leaning forward. Don't have your hands back, but just in the middle is enough. So now the face is just laying back slightly. I'm not actually going to open the face on this one because it's a 60 and I don't really need to open the face. If I had a 56 and I was trying to do this, I might turn the face slightly to the right and get it to lay open. But there I'm just keeping my weight neutral. As I say, butt of the club points straight up towards my belly button. And on the way back, I'm feeling like I keep the face open. So I'm not creating loads of wrist hinge. I'm just going back fairly neutrally, actually reasonably shallow, I think, for this shot, especially if you've got a good lie. I don't think you really need to go up and down and really steep. That is a way of playing it, and you can do that on certain lies and certain conditions. But for me, the most simple way I find of doing this is open face on the way back, so straight back. So I'm trying to go straight back, but I'm letting the face stay slightly open. I do this for all my pitch shots. I think it makes a massive difference. I've done other videos on this where I say curse of the short game is if you keep the face closed too much in the backswing, because you start presenting the leading edge to the ground and catching it thin and horrible and fat. So you need to get that face to open slightly for mainly all short game shots. I would say pretty close to all of them. You need a degree of that happening, or you might risk the face digging into the turf. So that's one thing. I'm letting the face open and I'm just going straight back, and then I'm allowing the club just to come back to where it started from. So I just want the butt of the club to be pointing again through my middle. I do not want to lead with the hands. So the feeling is of the club face whipping through and under, and again through impact, I'm extending out but keeping the face open to the sky. And I know Dan Grieve will tell you to get that club into the holster, and yeah, works. Really good way of doing it. even more simple than that for me, because I sometimes find with certain people, maybe not quite as skilled, they actually find it quite difficult to do this move where it goes into the holster. I've tried it and it works on a lot of people and I can do it, but this move, all you're thinking about is opening the face a little bit there and holding it open through impact. And you'll get somewhere near the holster move anyway doing that. You need to make sure you turn through is kind of the key. If you do, with any sort of short game shot, if you stop, all hell breaks loose. You start thinning it because the club gets forced up into the air too quickly and you start catching it thin. So you do need to turn through, but there's not, I feel like when I finish, I've got a little bit of weight on this right foot. So it's not, I don't feel like normally I would be here swiveling on that front foot and everything's going round the left leg. Now with the lob shot or the high shot round the green, I feel like I'm sitting flat on this right foot when I finish. It's a slightly more dangerous shot because if you get this wrong, you could actually swing up too quick and knife it. So that's why I'm saying have a good lie, try and stay settled into the ground, open the face and just turn through. So let's try one off this tight lie, and I'll probably have to edit loads because I'll knife this 50 yards into the bunker on the third, but never mind, let's have a go. Open face. Oh, I did it. Not bad at all, and I had a bit of spin on it because when you go off these tight lies and you do it, you actually get a bit of spin. Let's have another go. Knife this one onto the third. No, good again, even higher. I ended up in the Dangreave holster position there. So you can do that if you want. Let me do one where I just hold it out there a bit more. It probably doesn't go quite as high when I do that. I can't stop doing the Dangreave holster thing. I've got so into the way of that. So that Dangreave holster thing, if you're wondering what I'm talking about there, is when you finish, you want the butt of the club pointing down to the ground like that, and it could go into a little holster. It's a good analogy, and yeah, I seem to be doing it non-stop, but certainly off a good lie, you can still do this. So I'll just try and do a slightly more straight-armed one. There's the straight-armed one. That's the one I was teaching you, and I was actually doing something different. Sorry about that. But that worked perfectly. And if you look here, that's where all the balls ended up. That ball over on the left was not mine. That was here before we got here. All right, honestly. The other one slightly went off the green because I hit it too far, but it was a good shot, it was high. So this is it from this angle. By the way, I haven't mentioned it because it's a given, but you should have a soft grip for this and a good grip for this. And that's another lesson and another video. So we're assuming all your fundamentals are good doing this. So we're opening the face, nice soft grip. Opening the face, trying to go straight back, don't know if I am, but straight back. And then just keeping the face open, straight through impact. So I'll try the one I taught you where it's a straight arm first. I caught that a wee bit heavy, but this lie's a bit unforgiving. Still went up quite high. Let's try another one. Open the face and extend through. Nice high shot, stopped quite quick. And then the one I seem to be doing more often, which is the holster finish. Open face, a little bit. It cuts even more off it and goes higher and more spin again. So it's a slight variation of the same shot. We'll try one more. Don't know what I'm going to do. Slightly chunky and a bit too far. But the good thing is the safety net is it's open face. If you open that face, even if you hit a little bit of a bad strike, a little bit before it, into the ground a tiny bit, it slides through. It doesn't dig, it doesn't stop, you don't hit it fat. And so it's like a safety net. And it's not just because good players are really good that they do this, it's because they know as well that if they do these moves, the outcomes are better for them generally. So I think I've covered everything there. It's a quick one, quick fire lesson, because there's a lot of people about here today and I just want to get out here, to be honest. So if you've got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll get back to you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.